Hello, Gabe Heller here, Hohenzollern on YouTube and Hannah Brown Couch on Twitch. And we went to Savers recently, which is a thrift store here in Minneapolis, and I found this. Now, it may look like a unexceptional 1990s record player slash tape player slash radio. But it is far more than that to me, because when I first went to a store to buy a stereo for myself, this was the one I picked out. I got it home, it didn't work. It's the one I wanted, so I took it back, and I figured I could get a replacement for it. But I had bought the last one in the store, so I couldn't get one of these, and the one that they had instead was dumb. And I hated it. But it was still the one most like the one I wanted, so I went with that other one instead, and I never got to have one of these. Until today. That was probably 30 years ago. For $11.99 at Savers. I have it now. But it doesn't quite work, so I'm going to try and fix it. Fingers crossed it'll be easy. So first I'm going to go plug it in. So, what doesn't work? Well, the cord is short. There we go. If we turn it on, there's a little red light there, and we switch it to phono, I believe that this should just start turning, or maybe if we move the arm out, it should start turning. Maybe we need to swap speeds. Nothing. I don't think there's any button that tells it to go. I don't see one. I don't remember there being one. That is a fake button, not a real button. So, yeah, what do we do? Oh, I wanted to point out that it actually has a cartridge. For the longest time, the only ones you could get at thrift stores had broken needles or missing cartridges, but now they're starting to show up with cartridges. So yay. But this does not turn, so we're going to need to investigate that. Now, it's got a headphone jack, so I'm going to get a pair of headphones and plug them in, make sure that it's making sound. So, I've got this pair of headphones here. Let's plug them in, see what happens. Is that coming out of the headphones? Yes, it is. Well, that's not a good sign. Okay, well that's AM radio at least, so AM radio seems to work, maybe? Well, that's not a good sign. Let's, I guess, figure that out later, and for now, let's just see if we can get the turntable turning. Maybe the motor's stuck and that's what's making it make weird noises. It's like the motor interfering with stuff. We can always hope. So, here we are inside again, and it is so dark I can barely see. Maybe you can see. There's a pin down there, one of those circular pins. So we got to get that out of there, and then hopefully this should just lift off. Hi, Cat. Thank you for helping. You're supposed to squeeze two edges of it outwards. I'm sure there's a tool for doing that, but I'm going to try needle-nose pliers because I happen to have one. We'll see if we can push them outwards by opening it rather than closing it. Nope, not quite. Come on. Can I grab it and just pull it off? Probably not. Well, so the other thing I've used in the past is like 2 screwdrivers. Now, there's also, if I can get something in there, I might could pull it out. But this one is just a little too big. Oh, maybe I'm making progress. Yes! Okay, cool. I forgot that they had little indentations. It's been a long time since I messed with these pins. circular pins, whatever the heck they're called. There it is. Now hopefully this will just lift right off. Yes. Alrighty. So there was a belt in there. Was the motor turning? Not really. Well, then I guess you got to turn it over and see what's on the other side. Which means putting the belt back, I guess. This is going to be very hard. I won't be able to see what I'm doing. Often there'll be a little access panel through the turntable, but in this case there definitely is not. Okay. And, oh, I didn't have it turned to phono. Still not turning. Still not turning. Well, let's take a look at it from below. I'm pretty sure that the belt is on. It's not spinning freely. It's stopping itself. Let's put the pin back, I guess. I was kind of counting on the belt being broken since that's the most common fault with these. But no, it is something else. I don't know a whole lot more about this kind of stuff. In theory I do, but in practice I know very little. There we go. Back on. Cool. Do I want it? What is this? Where did it come from? Is it part of this? I don't know. How did it end up over there? It's a mystery. Maybe the footage will tell me. Yes. This is going to be very hard. Hello, Cat. Are you here to help? Cat is uncertain. What is help? I'm going to bet that it goes back in here, so I'm going to put it back in here. It's too much the right size to not be something that goes on here. Hi, Cat. You here to help again? You just checking? Inspecting things. Make sure everything's up to cat snuff. Nope. Trying to fly over there. Leave it to me to make my job harder than it probably needs to be because I think it is important. Okay. Why are you stuck there? How can you possibly be stuck in such an inconvenient place? Not under you. Why are you going under it? Go into place, will you? This is getting cut from the video for sure. Thank you. There we go. Both sides are above. Yes. Thank goodness. There. Haha. Okay, now it's not going to fall apart when I turn upside down. Okay, a different kind of screwdriver. Hey, it's a different kind of screwdriver. Okay, there is the inside of our device. There's the motor. What is making that noise? Ah, I have the cassette turned on to test that, so it's nothing to do with this motor at all. Is the motor broken? Something near the motor broken? This appears to be affixed to the back end of it, so you really can't see much of anything to do with it. If I take this board out, maybe I'll be able to see more of what's going on. This ought to be supplying power to the motor. Wow, that's a cheap way of having a fuse. Just don't bother with the fuse. Put it on the diagram and then just connect it straight across. Are there any actual fuses in here? I don't see any. It does say no user serviceable parts inside, but they always say that. Nope.
No user serviceable parts inside.
What? How can both this one and this one not work? What kind of screw are you? It's a Phillips. So obviously what we need to remove it is a flathead. There we go. Well, that doesn't tell me a whole heck of a lot, does it? I thought I'd be able to see maybe like where a screw is attaching the motor. Like, how is the motor even mounted in there? Cannot tell. So I guess we put it back together and go back to the other side? I thought I was done with that circular clip. What kind of screwy screw is this? What wires actually go to the motor? This wire goes to the motor. There should be two. Is that the problem? No. Okay. So this wire and this wire go to the motor. It's a black and a red one. They come from here. An awful lot of capacitors on this little board. So there's definitely a sensor here. Is that sensing? No. There's no way that could sense whether there's a record. Unless it's a weight sensor. It can't be a size of record sensor. So what is that sensing? Because I could see if that sensor was broken. It's the next day. I ran out of space for footage on my camera trying to troubleshoot this. And it turns out I just didn't quite know what I was doing. I think I figured it out now with the help of Sarah. One of the things we did is it was not playing evenly. It was kind of slowing down and speeding up a bit. So we put some graphite first and then some oil in here. And then we also put some hairspray around the motor and around where the belt connects to this. And so now it turns. I don't know if you can even see that. You should see some flashing here. I also cleaned it. It's a lot harder to see it turning now that it's clean. Okay, so that is one thing. However, that's not why it wasn't turning. And I'll try and explain that in a moment here while I turn it over. I've also managed to solve the loud noise problem. It was very weird, so I did not immediately recognize what was going on. I guess I should turn it off. Okay, there we go. It's no longer making horrible noises. So I thought all 5 of these dials were the graphic equalizer, but they're not. This is the volume, and this is the panning. And the volume knob was a little staticky, except instead of static, which is what I'm used to, that kind of sounds, it was actually producing like AM radio whine kind of sounds instead. But all that was necessary to fix that was to just move the slider up and down a whole lot. It took probably about 5 minutes total of moving the slider up and down, and now it doesn't make that noise anymore. So, yay. So we can turn it on, and we can have FM radio.
We've got more to come on the roundup across the country.
Ta-da! So, that's that. Then let me show you what I fixed inside it. Fixed. I'm not sure it was actually broken to begin with. I may simply have not known how it was supposed to work. I have a vague memory that the one that I bought actually had an automatic return mechanism in it. This does not, but it may originally have had one. You can see over here, right there, is a key-shaped hole. And if something were put into that key-shaped hole, it might allow you to lift the tone arm up and down. But there's nothing in there anymore. There's also this right here. This is a switch. I explored this a little bit before I ran out of room for footage on my phone. I thought it was going to be like a laser switch, which is a physical switch. I'm not going to take it apart now because it's working. Not sure it's working the way it's supposed to do, but it's working in a way that actually allows the thing to run, as you just saw. So it's got 2 conductors, one here and one here. And there are these little plastic white things here that are connected to some kind of mechanism here. That I think may also be incomplete. And that's why the switch was not getting tripped. And without the switch tripped, power doesn't get through to the motor. So the motor is working fine. It was this switch all along. And I've moved the plastic thing, so basically the switch is always on. I could have just wired the switch, but I was trying to actually get it to work, not realizing that almost certainly there's some plastic bits missing here. If that is, it was supposed to do auto eject. It doesn't do auto eject anymore. It just runs all the time, but at least I can play records, and that's the main thing. So, yay! I have the stereo I wanted when I was 12. Bye for now.
Refuse servicing to qualified service personnel.